Welcome to the Mashup.
Tell me whether I'm wrong or right. East or west, up or down, side to side. I sit to stand and fall to fly. Of all of my impulsive plans, pop and lock and salsa dances on demand. I follow leading off the map and stop the chatter, scream happily.
Welcome to the Mashup.
Welcome to the mashup. Welcome to the welcome to the mashup.
Welcome to the Mashup.
If you ever feel as though you don't hate the government enough, I would strongly encourage you to start a business. So, we mentioned it before, but Mrs. Tooze and I opened up a vape store last year, and we've got the open sign, but we decided that we wanted to move it to the other side of the frosted windows, the windows that have to be frosted so that nobody can see anything inside, all the way up. We wanted to leave like a 6-inch gap about 7 feet up just to let in more daylight. And the government said, what if some 7-foot tall kid walks by and looks in? I don't know how many 7 feet tall 17-year-olds there are, but it seems a little bit crazy. And so the other thing we were doing when we moved the open sign over was that we wanted to cut out the frosting so that the sign would be there and it would be more clear through it, but without actually letting anything in. So then we had to put a backing on it. So we cut out the backing and then hang it up, get it positioned just right, get it set up so that it's not sitting crooked. And then we drew the outline, and then we got to cut it all out and scrape it all off. And that takes like forever. And then realized once it was all done, but because the backing was on the back of the sign and it was sitting too far back, you could still, if you really wanted to, peek around the corners. We're like, well, the government isn't going to stand for this. And what are we going to do? So then, because we had a whole bunch of that extra plastic backing, I was like, well, what if we just did some shields around the side? So then I did this experiment where I tried melting a few pieces of it to, plastic weld it together, and that wasn't working. Then I was like, wait a second, we got a glue gun last year. Ran home real quick, couldn't find it. And then I remembered, oh yeah, it's at the store. Go to the store. We never used it. So I take it out of the packaging. So I got to go find the knife, open it all up, take out the knife or take out the gun. And then I get the glue, the package of glue sticks that came with it. And I go to put it in. Wrong size. By this time, it's like 10 o'clock at night. The store has been closed for hours. We've been mucking around with this stuff forever. And so finally, we were just like, screw it. We had a bunch of the cobwebs, to decorate for Halloween. And we just kind of put it up around the corners of the open sign. And that's like our temporary fix until we could get this figured out properly. And none of it would be necessary if it wasn't for the fact that you cannot have even the tiniest gap that anybody could glimpse the store through.
You ever just think you're doing business wrong? Like maybe you should just open up a store, call it Made, and they'd probably let you have open windows all the time too. They'd be like, you can welcome everybody in. You can offer them death, and just make sure it's welcome and warm to come into.
Well, we are definitely doing business the wrong way, because the only way that you're really successful is if you kowtow up to the liberals, donate a bunch to their political funds, and then things just magically happen in your industry. Galen Weston. But that's about her. How's it going, Sean?
It's going good. Mashup 178. We're going to hop right. Well, let's, if you enjoy the show, folks, make sure to like, share all the good things. We got 2 guests sitting in the background. You should share the crap out of this. They're on their way to Ottawa right now.
Yes.
But Mashup 178, happy Airborne Friday to all the military boys out there. Shout out to Jamie Sinclair and, all the military guys. But before we get into all the rest of the show, we'll bring Chris and Tamara in and get an update on, the next several days. Tuesday is a big day. Welcome to the show, Tamara. Welcome to the show, Chris. Thanks for joining us today.
Morning, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
Literally anytime.
Yeah, anytime.
Thank you.
I think we just want to make sure people know that Tuesday is a big day, and maybe, Tamara, you're on the road. Chris, you're soon to be on the road. I don't know. What update can you give Canadians?
Tamara? I'm actually not on the road yet. I have 2 hours in counting before we head east. Tamara's already en route. We'll probably meet up somewhere in Ontario or Manitoba, somewhere in there. It's about a 2.5 day drive out there. We will be there for Monday afternoon. We'll be prepared for Tuesday morning. Our sentencing is going to happen. The judge will do 2 things. she'll render her decision on our stay application for judicial error for my case, which was obviously a no-go, but she still has to issue that result, and then she will proceed into the actual sentencing. So most people don't know. If you do know, you do. I'm facing 8 years in federal prison. Tamara's facing 7. Our criminal charges of mischief, and for me, disobeying a court order. So we're ready to get this past us and see where the next stage goes, I guess.
And we might be losing Tamara a bit. Tamara, do you have any thoughts on the road heading out to Ottawa facing, I don't know, possibly 7 years in prison?
Well, to echo what Chris said, I'm really hoping that this will be, it'll close a chapter of the story. The book is not over yet for sure, but at least we'll get this part behind us. So I'm looking forward to that. It just seems a bit surreal that that it's been 2.5 years or 3.5 years since the Freedom Convoy, and over 2 years since this trial has started on a summary mischief charge. It's quite something.
It's everything you've come to expect from these people. The fact that the environment is the most important thing in this world, but climate change is the most important thing, and we need to do everything we can to save the planet. And how many trees do you guys think would be planted just to displace the amount of travel that you guys have done for this?
Look, stop and think about the amount of trees that we murdered, essentially leading however many vehicles we did out to Ottawa to stand up to the government in the first place. I mean, that was the key element there. And oh man, I think over a third of our year has been basically spent in travel, hotel rooms, court days. What are we at tomorrow? 60 days in trial? Must be getting close.
I think it's just 50. I think we're at 50. Maybe just over. Over 2 years.
Tuesday for sure. I guess I always look for clarification. For sure, we're going to have a result Tuesday, because I feel like every time you two fine folks head out east, it's like, okay, here comes something. And then it gets delayed another 6 months, and then they just continue to prolong it. For sure, Tuesday, we're going to have something one way or another, correct?
Well, that's what we're expecting. I know we've been talking about that too, and wondering if we should be packed even, because they always seem to throw something up in the air that delays it a little bit more. But at the last hearing that we had, where they were arguing CB Trucking's summary dismissal of the forfeiture application, the Crown did make a point of saying that he wanted the sentencing to proceed on October 7th, and the judge was in agreement. So I think it's pretty much a for sure thing at this point.
Can people watch? Or how do people follow along? Like, is there different people out in Ottawa going to be in attendance? Can they be in attendance? Are they going to be, I think of myself, I'm like, well, I want to know what the heck's going on. I think a lot of Canadians are going to want to know what's going on. Certainly this audience is going to want to know what's going on. How do we pay attention to what is being said and what the verdict is?
So there's a guy that's going to be in the courthouse. His name is Jonathan Villeneuve, and he is with Right Blend. He will be there tweeting and posting everything that happens in real time. Sean, you're a journalist too, so I don't know if it's true or not, but you can apply to actually be there as a journalist to monitor via Zoom, but it's granted by permission from the courts. I'm going to have to ask special permission from my daughter, my son, and my mother to attend virtually as well, just to listen. It is a closed Zoom. But if you are in Ottawa and you want to come and actually watch this, you're allowed in the courtroom.
Twos, I don't know. Like I'm like sitting here. I'm like, I just want to make sure people know this is going on. Because for myself, it's like a reminder. I have it sitting on the calendar of Tuesday. This is a big day. I know that a lot of people stand right behind you and are hoping for the best possible outcome, praying for the best possible outcome. And I don't know if I have many questions other than just, I want to make sure that people know what's going on and know to pay attention on Tuesday to, we're going to find out hopefully one way or another where this goes.
Yes. And I think we have to definitely give a shout out to everyone, you guys, everyone that's supported us It's Chris and myself that are on trial in this case, but there's numerous other Freedom Convoy cases. But I think we can all agree that the Freedom Convoy was a full-on Canadian movement, and we went on that journey together, and we've had so many people that have followed us and supported us along this journey too. So, we really appreciate all the love and support and the prayers that we've had. It's been overwhelming, the support. We get so much more love than we do hate. I promise you that.
100%.
That's good to hear. It's, you guys are two people that I'm really glad to have met. I just really wish it was under different circumstances. I ended up at a stoplight last week next to a truck that had a whole bunch of stuff about Freedom Convoy 2022 painted all over the side of it. And and ironically enough, actually, the fleet number on the front of the hood was Unit 222. And so, yeah.
Wow.
Roll down the window, and he rolls down his window, and I was just like, hey, man, I love what you did with the truck. But
It's evident.
Yeah.
If I'm out in the truck in Big Red hauling equipment, it is it's unbelievable the amount of horns I get, the waves, I have people that pass me and I'm pulling some pretty big stuff, like 28, 30 feet wide, and I'm taking up most of the highway, and somebody will pass and go, that was Big Red, and then they slam on the brakes and pull over to the side of the road and want to video fly, and I'm like, I am like huge on the road. Please don't do that. Work with the traffic that you have and appreciate the support.
How important is to both of you is the closure of hopefully October 7th being the day where one way or another this saga of this trial, 50 days in court, not to mention the 2.5 years and everything else. When you look at October 7th, I guess, for myself or people listening, how important is, how, you've probably circled it on your calendar. What does it mean to you Tuesday?
Well, like I said, it's not over. I mean, I think there's only 2 cases so far of all the Freedom Convoy cases where there's been acquittals that have not been appealed. So who knows what the Crown's going to do? I mean, look at Pat King's case. I think, if I'm correct, they are appealing 2 of his acquittals and also his sentencing. So, like I said, this is just the end of a chapter. This is not the closing of the book. There's still much more to come. I mean, what people don't realize is between the criminal suit and the civil suit, we're looking at probably the next 10 years minimum inside of a courtroom in some fashion or another. So, looking forward to closing this chapter and then moving forward and getting this part behind us. But I'm sure there's still much more to come.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned the civil suit. We talked about it maybe about a month ago on here, but the guy who I understand is the head dude pushing forward with this civil suit for you guys. Even he was speaking out against how crazy it is that they're looking for this sentencing for you guys. If you do get sentenced, can you let us know where to send a cake with a file in it?
Probably
Innis Road, Ottawa. OCDC, Innis Road, Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. I'm sorry, I've forgotten the postal code.
Well, postal codes are pretty important. Just look at that.
Yes.
Look at that.
Canada Post is on strike anyways. How are you going to get it there?
Oh, well, I mean, I want it to get there, so I wouldn't have used Canada Post in the first place.
True. That's
Chris.
true.
Chris, do you have any thoughts on Tuesday?
I think the weight on the shoulders going into this is becoming a little bit more evident. I'm excited to have it past us. I'm excited for Tuesday. What we can see what our fate is, I guess. And we have so many people standing behind us right now that whatever the outcome is on Tuesday, obviously we've got room for appeals. The Crown thinks they have room for appeals. There's a lot more coming at us down the hill, but I hope it's a decent sentence, and I hope we can leave on Wednesday and return home. I've got a business to run and family to look after here and animals to feed. And, it's definitely, if I'm sentenced to any time, it's definitely going to impact the family unit. And I think that's my biggest fear. I just had a visit with my 2 children out in the shop. They were working on some stuff out there, and sentiment with them is they're anxious right now because of this, and they don't know what the future holds. So I think that the impact that it weighs on the family unit at home, not knowing what the future is, I think is more evident than what's on my shoulders right now.
Well, that's the whole point, right?
Right.
That's
Yes, it is.
exactly because it's not enough to try and punish you. It's to make an example of you and to point out how standing up for things like this can lead to indirect punishment of indirect group punishment.
I think we're at the stage now in Canada, though. The more and more that this government continues to persecute the people involved with Freedom Convoy, the more they expose themselves for just how politically motivated they are, especially when it comes to the forfeiture on Big Red. And we've seen a lot. We know us introducing lawyer Brendan Miller in for to represent CB Trucking and my son's interest in the truck has exposed just a lot more of that, how things work in the downtown core, and how just how different it is when you come from the west compared to the east.
That's very true.
Any final thoughts for me, either one of you? We want to make sure you drive safe, and we'll be paying attention. But Tamara, any final thoughts? And then I'll let Chris. I'll let you have a final thought as well.
Yeah, I'll just reiterate a huge thank you to everyone who has supported us and loved us and prayed for us over these last few years. It's definitely really helped. We've had some frustrating times, but at the same time, I feel personally like I'm the most blessed woman in the world, because every kid, I always say every child dreams of having an adventure, and I think Chris and I have been on the grandest adventure of all. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that's supported us all along the way. Thank you to journalists like yourself and all the citizen journalists, independent journalists out there who are really dedicated to sharing the truth. We love you guys, and we appreciate what you do so much.
Chris?
Thank you. Well, I'd just like to reiterate that the support that we've seen over the last number of years and the amount of people that have come together has been I've been very grateful. We've been very blessed to have so many people. I've said this before, that it would be a very lonely, cold courtroom without so many people standing behind us right now. And no matter what happens on Tuesday, if the outcome is bad, I want to just make sure people know to keep a level head. And remember that we started this with peace in mind, and we continue this with peace in mind. And don't let your emotions get the best of you. We'll be fine regardless of what happens. Just remember to keep your heads. I've seen a lot of talk on social media with people getting fairly angry and ready to act. And just level heads will prevail.
Well said.
Thanks. Can I just point out this simple act that Tamara is doing literally right now, and Chris is about to start doing? It's very brave. If I was looking down the barrel of what you guys are doing, I don't think I would personally be able to just get in my car and drive for several days to meet it head on.
That's who we are, though, Twos.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Keep your
eye on the prize, right, Chris?
eye on the prize, right?
Right from day one. Keep your eyes on the prize. And they don't scare me. I guess that's the thing. And they can't take anything from me. I am free. Being inside of a jail cell does not make me any less free.
Appreciate you both coming on.
Thanks for having
And we'll be paying attention on Tuesday, and we'll be ready, hopefully, to welcome you back into the West after Tuesday. And whatever comes between here and there, just travel safe and keep everybody posted, because I think there's a lot of eyes that are going to be paying attention to everything on Tuesday and your guys' journey there, and hopefully back.
I'm hoping we can see you on October 18th in Regina, Sean. I'm
Yes.
hoping that comes true, and if everything works out on Tuesday, we will be there and we'll be able to speak. If not, we'll figure things out from there. So,
well, wouldn't it be nice if Alberta and Saskatchewan just said we're not going to extradite political prisoners?
That would be awesome.
That would mean our political leaders in the provinces here would actually have to grow a big pair of balls and do something.
That's right.
Even a medium pair would be nice.
Something.
Chris, Tamara, appreciate you both coming on and giving us some time. Tamara's like being on the road and finding a little bit of space to hop on here, and just safe travels to you both.
Thanks,
and we'll be paying attention either way. Thanks again for hopping on and giving everybody an update.
Appreciate it,
Thanks
guys.
for
Take care.
having us, guys. Take care.
Bye, guys. Good luck.
Thanks.
Okay, there you go. That's how you start Mashup 178. I tell you what, everybody should be paying attention on Tuesday, and we'll be. I mean, on this show, we'll be paying attention too. I mean, geez, Louise, that's
Well,
you're right. They're heading off to face
just
the machine.
look how they're
and-
handling that.
Yeah, facing
It's very
the
moving.
machine. Yeah. So Mashup 178. Thanks for everybody
Okay.
tuning in. Yep, time to focus all over again.
Eyes on the prize. Okay, first off,
That should be a shirt too. Somewhere people need to be taking notes here of all the shirts we should be doing.
every episode there's a new that should be. A
Eyes on the prize, baby. Mashup 178. All right, corrections.
Okay, what, Sean?
Twos.
Are you going to read the headline?
Oh no. Corrections. Acetaminophen.
Okay, so we have to issue a really important correction. So we were discussing this drug.
Okay, you're not going to read it, twos?
Let me get to it. We were discussing this drug last week, and my buddy Dave called me up, and we argued back and forth for like 20 minutes. And I didn't think I was wrong, but apparently if you're willing to call somebody up and just back and forth, you're fucking retarded. You're fucking retarded. Motherfucker, you haven't passed a hearing test in the last 20 years. How the hell did you think you would know how to say this? Back and forth, back and forth. I've decided that no, he must have been right. He must have been correct. And that the correct pronunciation of it is actually acetaminophen, and that we were both wrong. So I'm very sorry, folks, for the way I was pronouncing acetaminophen. Dave, you're totally right. It's acetaminophen. It's not anything else. And no matter what anybody says in any of the comments or anything like that, we all know that it's pronounced acetaminophen.
Acetaminophen.
Even the internet's wrong. It's acetaminophen. You win.
Oh boy. Okay. Okay. Here, I'm gonna put this up. The mash spiel is official. Okay. And I got it spelt wrong there and everything, and I realized that's great. Sean's having a day. Oh my, whatever. It doesn't matter. The mash spiel.
I think it's a very sexy. It's so bad. I love it. It is so bad, but I love it.
Hey, Chris, Tamara, if you're back in this part of the country in January, we'd love to have you at the Mash Spiel. Okay, I'm going to pull up one more time. Saturday, January 17th at Kalmar, Alberta.
I thought you said you were going to put the extra S in there.
I did. It's just not on the image I uploaded here because it doesn't matter. I'll get it corrected. Regardless, okay, fine.
This is probably why we didn't want to announce details, because we had to learn how to pronounce it and how to spell it.
I got it spelt right on the one side, and on the other side, the picture's wrong. You know, I'm winning, folks. I'm winning. Regardless, there are tickets available. It's $50 a person or 200 a team of 4. There's only like 60 spots, but 64 if I'm being honest. But you know, you factor in a bunch of people. There's not a whole lot of spots. It's a nice, simple day to get all of you together. Kalmar, Alberta. Twos has something he wants to interrupt with. Why should I be surprised?
I'm not trying to interrupt you. I just want to add to what you're saying.
Mhm.
And the whole idea of this is we're just going to have fun. We're going to do some curling. We don't care that much if you're good. I'm going to judge you internally, but I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. It's just there so that we can enjoy ourselves, hang out, meet a few people, put some faces to names, and we're looking for a bunch of prizes. We're not looking for crazy prizes. We're not like trying to give away a
Chris
Camry.
Sims, I'm shouting out to you. I want to defund the CBC shirt donated from the Canadian Taxpayers Federation. Shout out to Chris Sims.
Yeah, and Chris Sims, if you want to come, there's a spot waiting for you.
That too. Either way, that's coming up.
We'll get is if you got a company or something like that, you want to donate something, we're gonna try and have a ton of reasonable prizes. We're not looking for anything crazy. but
we would
we
take
want lots
something
of it.
crazy. I mean,
Yeah, actually,
you know,
if anybody has a Donaire mascot costume that they want to
We'd take that.
donate,
we'd take that.
absolutely.
Yes, we would. I'd make twos wear it for the day curling. Right, that's what I would
That
do.
might even things out a little bit.
Well, you know what? We all know why he picked curling, folks. Right? We did
Why?
clay pigeon, and we did clay shooting, and yours truly beat twos, and so now he's trying to.
Really?
Yeah.
You
Oh,
thought
definitely,
you beat me.
definitely.
You thought you beat me.
Definitely, I did.
You
I
did
can't.
way better than I was
Come on.
expecting you to, but you were not by any means good.
Oh, looks like we got our next challenge in another one. Okay, let's get this show on the road, twos. Mashup 178. Let's start here. Liberal MP says it's time to stop the clock on daylight time. The Ottawa MP plans to table a private bill next week to end what she calls the outdated practice of daylight time. It is time to change the time change, Lalonde told reporters Thursday. This unnecessary barrier impacts the lives of Canadians in more ways than simply adjusting their clocks.
Yeah, so I mean, we did that article last week. It's interesting how actually I'm just putting this together in my head now while we're talking about it. But last week there was that article that I think it was CTV talked about how the time change that we do in the spring and fall and everywhere but Saskatchewan causes obesity. And then lo and behold, a week later, the Liberals are putting forth. So the media laid the groundwork for this. They said the reason why you're fat is because we're doing the time change. And then now the Liberals are putting forth a bill saying we're going to get rid of time change. Now, the funny thing is that we've flirted with this before. Bill C-203 in 2017, the NDP were in charge in Alberta, and Thomas Dang, the hacker guy.
Yes.
Yeah, he put forth a private member's bill to get rid of daylight savings time in Alberta. And then the NDP voted their own bill down to keep daylight savings time, which is why I say things like the NDP are not a serious party. And so I think this would be awesome and hilarious if the Liberals voted down their own bill on this. I think that would be good, because you look at it and you're like, okay, well, this is very easy, low-hanging fruit, common sense stuff that would just get rid of a bunch of bullshit. But this is government we're talking about. They live on keeping around easy, low-hanging fruit things that cause a bunch of unnecessary bullshit, because they literally are unnecessary bullshit. If you start getting rid of this unnecessary bullshit, next thing you know, they got to find a real job.
First Nations University president fired key whistleblower behind scathing review of her conduct. A 3-month investigation into more than 24 allegations against the president of First Nations University of Canada, commissioned by the institution's board in 2023, concluded with a stark assessment of her conduct. The investigator found that President Jacqueline Ottman created a circle of favor around and inside her office, which attaches the individuals whom she favors and excludes those whom she deems or does not favor for having influence, said the 200-plus page report. It went on to say this phenomenon is sometimes termed empire building.
Yeah, which if you got your own company, it's not a great way to run a business, but you can do it. But if you're running the first Indigenous university in the country, maybe don't be such a dick. And then when there's whistleblowing about the fact that when you are doing all this nepotism, when you're hiring your cousins, your first cousin and a distant cousin, and then paying them tens of thousands of dollars above the ceiling for what you're allowed to pay them annually, there's a whistleblower, and then you fire that whistleblower. It's not just the federal government. We need better whistleblower protection for all kinds of stuff in this country.
We're no longer in a position to continue our banking relationship with you. Ontario man dumped as bank client after 30 years. And then it went on to say it doesn't happen very often, but a bank can unbank you, telling you to take your business elsewhere and closing your accounts with them.
Now, interesting thing is, if you're part of the media and you look at this, you might ask yourself, well, have there been any other instances of this lately?
Of people getting debanked?
people getting debanked that maybe we could talk about in this article.
Correct.
Well, it doesn't happen very often. Okay, it does
Mhm.
happen. Well, what other instances has it happened in?
Yes.
No, we can't talk about those people.
No, we can't.
We can't talk about Evan Chipiuk. We can't talk about Jeremy McKenzie.
Correct. Pipelines, twos.
Oh,
Okay.
Sorry. And then I don't know if you saw that at
This
the very
should be,
bottom.
you know what? Just sticking on this for a second
Just-
while you look up something.
Hey,
Is what?
At the end of the article, have you been dropped by your bank? CTV News Toronto wants to hear
Wouldn't
from
like
you.
to know.
Email us at torontonews@bellmedia.ca with your name, general location, and phone number in case we want to follow up. So, Eva, if you're watching this, see what they have to say. It could be fun.
This should be a warning sign to all Canadians. Eva and everybody else that is a warning sign. But this guy seemed like,
I've never heard of him.
yeah, exactly. You're like, what? What? Okay. Right? Like, I think that's what, to me, is important about the story. I chuckle about the fact everything you just said, right? This doesn't happen very often. It's like, what are you talking about? We've been following this story for probably a year plus. Is it more than that? It's probably more than that now. Right? This is becoming more of a trend.
Mhm.
Anyways, shout out to Bow
But
Valley
hey,
Credit
it's
Union.
news to CTV.
News, yes, no kidding. Journalist Sean Amato said Alberta.
To be clear, shout out to Bow Valley Credit Union because
Yes.
they don't do this sort of thing.
Well, no, and they took it.
Yeah.
They literally are grabbing business off of this, right? It hurt, it makes RBC look ridiculous, and now companies like or businesses like Bow Valley Credit Union are seeing a huge influx of people moving that way. Simple as that.
Yep.
Alberta is spending $14 million to create an application/advisory group for a new bitumen pipeline to the BC coast.
Before we hit that real quick, there was one that I snuck in there. I think you were already past it. Northern Ontario paper mill announces plans to close. Also, there was another.
Where's that?
It's north of Southern Ontario.
You don't have the town, you jackass. Thank you for that clarification.
It's in. God damn it! It's in Kapuskasking.
Okay.
All right, fine. Some of the names are a little bit hard.
Are they twos?
Some of the names.
Is it a little hard to pronounce some of the names? Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting.
Also, Oshawa, another plant is closing and moving down to the States. I think it's moving to Illinois. Illinois.
Alberta is spending $14 million to create an application advisory group for a new bitumen pipeline to the BC coast. No private investment yet. Oil tanker ban still in place. BC Premier already said the project is not real.
Yeah, you missed another really important one too, though.
You're killing me here, man.
I'm okay with that. Okay,
do the pipeline, and we'll go back.
We'll do it after. We'll go back.
Do we do this show weekly or
future.
what? Like we are all over the. I'm talking.
Can you believe this guy?
Yeah, I'm pretty much. I'm like I'm talking to the. Yeah, anyways, doesn't matter. I'm okay. Twos. What do you want to talk? What does Twos want to talk about today? Want to talk about pipelines? You want to talk about all the things you snuck in when you said it was done and it's not done? Okay,
well,
here we go.
Speaking of trying to sneak in,
like if you're watching the show, you're like, these guys do this every week. Is this the first time? It feels like a first time. Tim Hortons manager fired, allegedly ordered $20,000 girlfriend for brother.
Yes. So the manager went to a 17-year-old employee and said, "Hey, do you have a boyfriend?" And she said, "No." And then said, "If you marry my brother, he'll give you $15,000 to $20,000 so that he can come into the country." So speaking of sneaking in, this is what happened. And so anyway, this girl quit the job because things got a little bit weird. The manager has since been fired and police are investigating. So yeah, you can get more than just Timbits at the drive-thru. Apparently, if you ask the right people,
you can get 15, 20 grand.
You might even get a husband.
Pipelines.
No.
Really?
BC Walmart permanently closes after. Oh shoot.
Welcome
After
to the
months
Mashup.
of safety concerns. So Northern BC, Prince Rupert is closing its Walmart for good just because of the amount of thefts and fighting and scrapping and unruliness that's happening in Walmart. The people of Walmart are too much for Walmart. And this is not a serious country. And things aren't good. If Walmart is saying we can't operate this store because of the chicanery, let's take a look at what's going on in this country. Now, Sean, you wanted to talk about pipelines?
Do you want to talk about pipelines, or do we?
Oh, yes, I want to talk about pipelines.
All right. Alberta's spending $14 million to create an application advisory group for a new bitumen pipeline to the BC coast. Okay. Today's Alberta government announced that we will be taking the first steps toward building a new oil pipeline to the West Coast using technical advice of major pipeline companies, and with Indigenous participation. The province will begin engagement with Alberta and BC Indigenous communities, develop a proposal, and submit a formal application for a project of national significance to the Federal Major Projects Office. This project will strengthen Canada's economy, open new export markets, create Indigenous ownership opportunities in Alberta and British Columbia, and advance Canada's national interest. You might want to show, I don't know, Bloc Leader Blanchette making a comment on this.
Yeah. So this is a completely normal and reasonable thing for somebody to say whose province gets $14 billion a fucking year from equalization.
Today to announce a deal with Enbridge and some other major companies to put forward a pipeline proposal, an oil pipeline. Fortunately for you, I think it's not going to go to Quebec, it's going to go to BC. You've been critical of the Alberta government before. What do you make of them going forward with this?
Let's imagine that Quebec is an independent and free country. We will go on the world stages to say that Alberta is destroying the environment of the whole planet. So I will say the same thing. Either it goes through Quebec or not. The idea of augmenting the volume of oil and gas, which is extracted and then burned and consumed, is irresponsible. I would agree with real measures to help Western Canada to transform in time.
Anyway, that's the gist of it. Not a fucking thank you. Not saying, hey, we appreciate all of the roads that this money has built in our province. We appreciate the little scarf thing in my suit jacket, which was paid by the fucking oil sands. All these flags here, all of this stuff is here because Alberta paid for it. And if you think that it's destroying the planet, and there is no planet B, folks, and if the Alberta pipeline is destroying the planet, and Alberta oil and gas is destroying the planet, if you had an ounce of integrity, and here's the big if you had an ounce of integrity, you would say, we're not going to condone it. We don't want anything to do with it. Keep your dirty fucking money. But here's the thing, is that there is no such thing as dirty fucking money when it comes to fucking Quebec, whose hands never stop being held out like this. Please, sir, can I have some more?
Alberta on notice, coastal BC nations opposed to pipeline proposal. That's another part of this.
Yeah, I would check in with the Tides Foundation and see if any money's sneaking its way over there.
And then Imperial Oil plans to lay off roughly 20% of its workforce by 2027. Premier Smith said it's very disappointing, laying the blame on Ottawa and reinforcing the need to build pipelines. The industry for the last 10 years has been hampered and hobbled by federal government decisions, Smith said on Tuesday. If we can realize the aspirations of building our pipelines north, south, east, and west, doubling our production, then there's a lot of opportunity for people to be able to get reemployed in this sector.
Absolutely. We've been talking about this forever. Since the world's kind of become a smaller place, money is a lot easier. It's moved a lot more easily between jurisdictions. And so you're not just stuck building with wherever you happen to get that money. You can take it anywhere. And we've seen, what, $500 billion worth of projects get canceled And then that money, which would have been used to build up Canada and make it more self-sufficient, make it less shitty, has gone everywhere else in the world. And the latest is these layoffs in Quarry Park. I don't know if you've ever seen the whole campus that Imperial has in Quarry Park. It's huge, like multiple buildings. It's probably a couple blocks. It's like at least one block anyway, of just thousands of people. Here's the thing. I happen to know a little bit about the construction of it. For when they did the first phase of it, they had gotten all locking HDMI cables. This is, just bear with me here for a second. Okay. And then the idea being, okay, well, that's nice because whenever things are plugged in, they don't just kind of slowly work their way out. And then you're trying to trace down an issue. But they did it for all like the boardroom tables and stuff. And so someone would plug in their laptop to present, and then they didn't know that they had to push these tabs, and nobody could get this HDMI cable out of the computer. And so eventually they were just cutting them off, and a whole bunch of people had these cut off HDMI cables sticking out the side of their laptop, and nobody could present because there was the matching broken cut piece of it in the boardroom. And so they did a change order for the next phase of it. And just the difference in cost between the locking HDMI cables and the regular HDMI cables was $100,000. That's how much money they spent on this thing. And they were still working on it less than a decade ago. Like, I think the whole thing went live in about 2019. So 6 years after that, where they had $100,000 change order on one building's HDMI cables. That's how much shit there is here. And they're just going to sell it off. They're just going to get rid of it. Good luck with that, by the way, because the commercial vacancy in Calgary is a third. Like, it's 33%. So a decade ago, when they started doing this, they were optimistic enough about the way things were going in Canada. And then after all of this stuff that we've been talking about for years, none of this is surprising to anybody. And Danielle Smith is absolutely correct in saying that the regulatory bullshit is what's causing the investment capital to flee. And now, not only is it affecting future potential jobs in terms of future development, but now it's affecting the actual boots on the ground, even if it is suits in the office.
Alberta's premier defends decision not to increase province's minimum wage, set to be the lowest in Canada, albeit by 35 cents if you go compared to Saskatchewan. But regardless, minimum wage hikes will kick in Wednesday in Ontario, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, leaving Alberta the lowest at $15 an hour. Basically, a quote from Danielle Smith: "I don't want to put any more barriers in place to employers hiring young people."
Absolutely. And the real minimum wage is $0. If you're watching this and you're like, well, you know what? I happen to, me and all my pronouns happen to disagree with what Danielle Smith is doing. I encourage you, you need to go find yourself a copy of the good book, sit down and read it. Yes, Basic Economics by Thomas Sowell. This is literally rooted in ground level basic economics. The higher you make the entry ladder, the harder it is for anybody with a low skill set, specifically in this case, youth employment, to enter. It's taking the bottom rung or the bottom two rungs or the bottom however many rungs off of a ladder. And eventually it's going to be too high for people to get into. Most people don't stay working at a minimum wage job for very long. Almost nobody is on it in any sort of a long-term thing because it is a step on the ladder. And if anybody knew anything about economics in the NDP, they would say, well, actually, you know what? She's right. But they don't, and so they don't.
UK's counterterrorism police name Manchester synagogue attacker as Jihad al-Shami, a 35-year-old UK citizen of Syrian descent.
Yes. So this is crazy. The latest terrorist attack in England, the guy's name is Jihad. The guy's name who did the terrorist attack His parents said, look at this cute little baby. Let's name him Holy War Against the Heathens. And then, craziest thing happened. This guy who spent his whole life being called Jihad performed a terrorist attack. This is great. This is totally the kind of Norm Macdonald thing here. In news tonight, the UK imported a radical Muslim who goes by the name of Jihad. You'll never guess what happens next. The internet had a field day with this. I just want to point out, though, that this isn't the first time there's been instances like this with somebody with an absolutely perfect name. Here is Lieutenant Les McBurney of the Sun Prairie Fire Department. Here's the story I managed to find about a shoe company called Shoe Zone. And the former head of the company was Terry Boot, or pardon me, the former head
was Peter Foot.
And then he was replaced by Terry Boot at Shoe Zone. Here's a good one. This is from Jimmy Kimmel. We've been talking about him lately, but not for much about stuff like this.
I was actually trained in urologic oncology, but since being in Austin, I've become the vasectomy machine. After 16,000 vasectomies plus,
wow!
I think I've earned the honor.
Wow, you have handled a lot of penises. And may I ask, what is your name, doctor?
My name is Dr. Dick Chop.
None of these names are as on the nose, Sean, as a terrorist named Jihad. And the thing about it is that he moved there from Syria. So somebody in the United Kingdom looked at the paperwork and said, that word you probably can't say in an airport, that's his name. Does anybody have any concerns about this? Nah, it should be fine.
Dr. Dick Chop. Ay. Twos, the things you find on a weekly basis even amaze me. Okay, when Prime Minister Mark Carney walked into the Ottawa book launch for Catherine McKenna's memoir, Run Like a Girl, last week, it raised a few eyebrows. The big achievement of Miss McKenna as an environment minister in Justin Trudeau's government, after all, was the carbon tax. But Mr. Carner...
Damn it. What? I was going to make this joke and I totally forgot about it. I was going to say that he's the Middle Eastern Dick Assman. And I totally forgot to make the joke. Pet Brett, you're right. Saskatchewan's own Dick Assman. And here's the problem with live television. I don't have a script in front of me. I don't have a teleprompter. And sometimes I miss things. And there are very few things in this world that piss me off than when I had planned to make an awesome joke and it just ends up getting cut because my mind is going somewhere else. I'm sorry, folks. I wish I could be better for you.
Catherine McKenna has a memoir, Run Like a Girl. What would you like to say, Twos?
Well, I thought this was interesting because now actually, presumably she sold about 6 copies of it, including, I'm sure at every news bureau, they're like, someone's going to have to read this stupid fucking book. And we're going to report if anything interesting happens. And so, somebody at the Globe and Mail did. Poor bastard. And as you're looking for your notes in your notes, I get great books sent to me all the time, and my shelf is slowly getting stocked with like stuff that's just unreal to read. I can't imagine if that Run Like a Girl came to me and like, oh man, this is going right on the bottom of the heap. So talking about Justin Trudeau, she doesn't talk about him much in the book, but when she does, it's harsh. The prime minister was aloof and just didn't seem interested in his ministers or caucus members, besides his childhood friends, Dominic LeBlanc and Mark Miller. He was preachy and talked down to people. Though he was right to have a gender-balanced cabinet, she writes, he never stopped talking about it, never stopped the virtue signaling. It made it sound like we were there to fill a quota. This is a revelation to you? You're going to talk about how smart and capable you are as a politician and an individual, and how important it is for people like you to be in politics, and you're just starting to piece together years after the fact as you write your memoirs that maybe you were just there to tick a fucking box? No shit, Sherlock.
Drivers. Let's show you've got a whole group of drivers. Why don't you bring those up?
Well, I don't know if it's fair to call them a group of drivers. But yeah, we got some interesting things. And again, this is all just stuff I saw this week. All right.
Tuesday's having too much fun.
The thing about it is that I don't actually I saved the clip, and so I'm hearing them for the first time when we do this. Here, I'm gonna fast forward this one bit.
Fuck you touching me for?
No, you missed it. The guy bumped him.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, here it is.
hey, don't you put your hands on me, motherfucker. Hey, put your hands on me, motherfucker.
So yeah, there's him crashed into some cement barriers.
Here's BC.
BC. This all happened in 24 hours. You can just see it in the small picture on the left. Semi's partway over the cliff.
It says Highway 1 closed between Chilliwack and Hope after a semi ends up dangling over train tracks. Another semi collapses on an overpass at Whatcom Road. And in Langley, a truck flips on a corner you're supposed to take at 10 kilometers per hour.
Now, this is interesting. It kind of cuts close to home. We know some people from Hope, BC. Well, one person.
There's one of the trucks flipped over on its side.
This is interesting because this one appears to have happened in fucking Quebec.
Tabarnak! Tabarnak! Si tu fais là! C'est quoi? Tu l'as déjà quand, esti? Tu t'as pas mis conduire?
Now, I'm just going to point out that there's easier ways to change the oil in a truck. Okay?
You want to show...
This one's good.
Are you okay?
Totally fucking wrapped around that tree. And that door's kind of hard to close when it's up at a 45-degree angle. I love how...
Go put your car in park.
This.
Go put your car in park. It's moving.
that car's not moving anywhere. You're cutting that fucking tree down.
Okay.
Holy Mackinac.
And then she goes and she puts the car in park.
You want to show the sombrero video? So this is caused.
I don't know if it's going to be funny or interesting or not, Sean.
So Donald Trump puts this out, okay?
Donald Trump makes this video and he releases it.
This is the House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, and he's this is a video
and
of
Chuck
him wearing.
Schumer.
Yes.
And so haters are going to say that this is AI or photoshopped. But let's just see what Donald Trump posted about his political opponents.
Look, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans bullshit. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters. And if we give all these illegal aliens free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They can't even speak English, so they won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of shit, you know, at least for a while until they learn English and they realize they hate us too.
So Donald Trump posted that. And then what happened was that guy went on NBC complaining about how racist it was. And here's what Donald Trump posted about that.
It's a disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican assault.
And then there was all kinds of fallout about it. It was crazy. You had this lady.
And then what does that shameful man do? After a meeting where you're supposed to be working out details, where you're supposed to be negotiating a deal, you post something that draws a sombrero and a mustache on the leader with whom you're supposed to be. That's right. And then what?
And then this is the best one. This is Tim Walz, failed
Vice president nominee.
Vice president. Yeah. And he's talking about the international fallout of this.
In a massive misinformation campaign, the president himself tweeting out AI videos of fake news reports on healthcare. This is really dangerous and it's really hard. And I cannot express to you the concern and the absolute bafflement and fear of our European allies asking me, is this stuff really going on? So yeah, I have a feel that they do that. And
now, just to be clear, the AI video that he posted was this thing.
We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans bullshit. Not even black.
And apparently Europe is calling Tim Walz because, I don't know, maybe he's the only number they have on their Rolodex, and asking him if that video was real.
Donald Trump being president, I tell you what, there's never a dull day. Is there?
Well, I don't know. Maybe when
they call him on it, he then clips that video and has the sombreros playing in the back, or the trumpets playing.
It just doubles down on it.
Doubles down on it.
And makes him the mariachi band.
Okay. Anyways, Alberta next panel. Okay, from laughter to something happening here back in Alberta. Alberta next panel concludes its province-wide tour at Spruce Meadows. A grade 12 student whose microphone was cut off mid-question at the United Conservative Party's Alberta Next town hall and told he needs to be spanked is disappointed. He has yet to receive a personal apology. That was Evan Lee, 17, went to the town hall with friends on Monday night and was cut off during his inquiry about the looming teachers' strike. I applaud you coming here to speak. I don't applaud how you're trying to speak. Panel moderator and executive director of the Premier's office, Bruce McAllister, told the teen, I know you'd love some chaos, but your parents should turn you over your knee.
Yes. So what happened was, and okay, well, we'll show the clip here real quick.
Yeah, let's show the clip.
Hi, my name is Evan Lee. I'm a Calgary high school student. Like many high school students, I'm very concerned about what's going to happen to the upcoming Alberta teachers' strike. But just an hour ago, they voted 89.5 in favor of striking.
Evan?
And my question is, why is the government handing out
So this is where they cut his mic.
Here's the thing, Evan. Evan, I applaud you coming here to speak. I don't applaud how you're trying to speak. It's not making any sense. So we're going to move along, okay? Let's go over to this microphone, okay? I know you'd love some chaos, but your parents should turn you over your knee. Let's go over here.
So that's what he said. And then you've got all these people saying, oh, this is horrible, right? I mean, this kid's just trying to ask a question about the strike, and he gets his mic cut off and then says he needs a spanking. Right? Nobody ever asks what the context was. What led up to this? What were the ground rules for this meeting? A crowd of 30 to 50 of the Orange Shirt Party and the Communist Party were vocal, loud, and attempted several times to drive the agenda and conversation. When denied, they became loud, vociferous, yelling, and quite rude. Much concern about the AB pension plan, mostly from misinformed seniors. Concept of separation rose several times and was cheered quite loudly each time. One word senior asked the crowd to stand and sing "O Canada" with her. Only the Orange crowd did so. 50 out of, say, 900 that were left. They sang it as loud as possible in an attempt to interrupt. The Native board member, clearly a part of the Indigenous industry, insisting that Indigenous peoples have a veto over separation and will never happen. All in all, it was primarily a conservative gathering. I am heartened by the level of knowledge, support, and clear consideration, at least from this crowd, for an independent Alberta. Now, they had laid out very clearly ahead of time that they were not there to discuss things like the teachers' strike. They were not there to discuss these other things. And so people's mics were getting cut when they tried to ask questions that weren't on the docket of what was being discussed. And after numerous things of them just trying to be like, okay, well, I'm going to try again. Well, I'm going to try again. Well, I'm going to try again. And then this kid got up and he asked his question about the teacher strike that they had explicitly said they weren't there to talk about and would not be discussing. He got his mic cut. And after all of that, said that he probably needed a spanking, which I would say doesn't seem unreasonable in the situation. So everybody should get mad at me too. Should they? Should they? I don't know. Am I out of line here, Sean?
Well, I would say this. As a moderator, as somebody there to facilitate, you can never lose your cool. And I would say they got him to lose his cool. That looks bad. I'm sure he would, I'm sure he wishes he'd chosen his words better. That was a poor choice. It's a bad look. When you say, come on,
okay,
you're talking to a kid. Nope, I'm full stop. That was poor choice of words. Poor choice. We just stuck to, no, we're just going to move on. We're not talking that. Here's the thing, Twos. We have a video where a reporter asks about ostriches to Pierre Poilievre, and he doesn't address it. What is going on in Alberta now that people want to know about? The Alberta teacher strike. So the only thing I don't know, full disclosure, did they get asked about it, and did they talk about it for 2 minutes, and now they're trying to move on? He asks a question. He's a student. Let the premier answer it, and then you can move on and say, listen, that's where we're at. Thank you. We're going to go back to our thing. This is, you've just given them a ton of ammunition. I mean, bend it over. Come on. Listen, you can say that's right, but what are they going to do? They're going to clip that out. That's going to blow up. And now we're talking about it. And so on the moderator, you got to choose your own words better. Like they didn't on this Alberta Next panel. Did they think they were only going to have 99% conservatives show up to everything and not be bombarded at some point by this? You have to game plan.
They had to expect it, but at the same time, what he's saying isn't all that incorrect. I feel like there'd be a lot fewer NDP voters if there were a few more spankings given out at key points in people's childhoods.
You can agree with that. I'm just saying, as a moderator, your whole job is to just be.
So you're talking about, you shouldn't say something that's correct. You should say something.
You're telling me that 99% of conservatives in there aren't curious about the Alberta teacher strike?
That's not what they were there to talk about. The Alberta Next panel.
Okay.
Right. And you're saying that even though it's probably correct that a couple ass whoopings, not literally, but a couple ass whoopings might have made that kid
Do I want the government
nuanced?
Do I want the government telling me when and how ass whipping should come in? No, probably not. Nope. He should have just been, you know what, Premier, could we answer one question on the teacher strike? Yes? Okay. What's your question, son? Done. He's a student. I don't know the full context. Like, when I read the reports, it sounds like it was a room that was a bit raucous. And I understand that they were trying to take over it. And so you're trying to keep it on the rails. But the spanking comment, no. Look at how that's blowing back.
All right.
Harold can agree with you. That's fine.
That's okay. But Kevin's agreeing with you. We got a divided group here.
You just have to remain balanced. Look at the premier. Premier goes, yeah, I'll answer one question. Okay, we'll give you one question. Answer the question. Danielle Smith is phenomenal at answering these questions. They can love or hate the answer. She could have answered it. Then they can move on. And then the rest of the time you can say, listen, folks, we already answered one question on it. We're trying to discuss the 6 things this panel is about. If you don't have a question, just think of how easy that would be. Instead, he goes, they should have bent you over your knee. And you go, oh, man. Even if you like that sentiment, now look at the blowback. Look at the blowback.
Here's the thing, though, is you're getting blowback from people who are dishonestly reporting on it, which is all that the UCP, all that anybody.
It's information war, Twos. That's what's going to happen.
So don't say anything correct because it's going to get taken out of context.
No.
Let's just, you know what?
Can you imagine some moderator telling you how to parent your child, or telling you, your teenage boy, your parents should? I think I would have told the guy to go stuff it. What are you doing? That isn't what you're up there for.
If
Get out
you're
of the
being
way.
a jackass at an event like that,
he's asking a question. They have question
Ooh.
sides.
Yes, but they were very clear about the fact that the questions
We're not going to
were
talk about
this.
anything going on in the world. Sorry, folks. We're not talking. We're
We're
talking
here to
about
talk
these
about
6
this.
things.
This is the same thing. Remember when we had that?
This
when
goes
we had
back
that
to
meeting,
this
when
goes
we
back
had
to
that
when the
meeting, when we
CBC
had that
cut.
meeting, and I laid out the agenda. I showed up in a suit, and I was like, "We're going to talk about this, 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 this. Here's the time we have allocated for each. We got a hard stop at this time, and I managed that meeting tight as fuck." You know what ended up happening? You said, "Twos, it would be great if you could do the same thing, emceeing the cornerstone."
You can't act like the world is static, though. Like it's constantly moving. There's a huge thing going on that people are concerned about. You know how many texts I've got about the teacher strike? A ton. So that is big news of the day. To act like there isn't going to be a question asked about it is ridiculous. And if it lent to the conservative side of things, they probably would have allowed it and been like, you know what? Yeah, we'll take one question. It's in a room full, not full, forgive me, of 50 people who are trying to make a point.
Mhm.
And there's a way to deal with that, I think, where you could have just said, "Can we take one question on this? This is big news of the day." It literally did just happen. And the premier would have said yes. She would have went, "This is where we're at. I can't give out a whole bunch of details," whatever she's going to say, and you get to move on and address it. You're saying spanking a kid would fix this all, and I'm like,
I'm saying
maybe
spanking that kid 10 years ago might have had a different outcome.
but that isn't for the moderator to decide. He's supposed to be as even
He's saying
keeled
what
all
we're all
night.
thinking. And
No,
you're
I
saying he should really you wouldn't look at those 50 people acting up based on complete economic illiteracy
This is
and
politics. Donald Trump would have got up there. He would have moved the moderator over and we would have listened. And he would have called them all out and they all would have booed him and a bunch of people would have cheered and they would have moved on. The
I've
moderator's
been to
job
an
isn't
NDP town hall. They will cut people off if they're saying
but the NDP aren't a serious party. They aren't.
I'm just saying that basically it got handled almost all exactly the same way at any NDP town hall, with the exception of suggesting that maybe you should discipline your children.
I think you're wrong on this one. I just do. And
That's all
nobody
right.
has to agree with me.
Well,
I'm fine with it.
Maybe Papa Newman should have taken you over his knee a couple times.
Sure, twos. Sure. Let's get into the goofy, okay? This is Pierre Poilievre and his stance on the BC ostriches.
Stance on the ostriches in British Columbia and the Colleen Order.
Here's our fearless conservative leader.
Really incredible that the Liberals have caused so much, because of liberal incompetence, we're in this mess. And when you have an incompetent government, you have messes like the inflation crisis, like the crime crisis, like the border crisis, like the investment crisis, like the fastest shrinking economy in the entire G7. When you have an incompetent government, you get lots of these messes.
Now, keep in mind, that was a question about ostriches.
Wait, on the ostriches, sir. Sir, you didn't say
Sorry, I
what
was
your stance
asking
is on the ostriches.
this lady
Why won't you answer your stance on the
I
ostriches?
just did.
Fastest shrinking economy in the G7. What do you think about ostriches? Well, let me tell you about Neptune's orbit. Meanwhile, Elizabeth May, that drunken crazy idiot, had a better response than he did.
Of ostriches before engaging in what many see as a animal cruelty. And I can't imagine, this is absolutely astonishing to me, that an animal welfare issue in Canada has garnered the attention of MAGA-type billionaires in the United States, which makes me sympathize with the ostriches less. But that doesn't matter. What matters of ostriches?
At least she's talking about it, even if she's insane.
Yes, twos. Yes, but don't worry about the BC or the teacher strike. We're here only to talk about 6 things.
We're not here to talk about the teacher strike today, okay, Sean?
Sure.
We're not here to talk
twos.
about the.
Sure. All right.
We're not.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. All right. My name is Greta Thunberg. You want to show the Greta Thunberg video?
Well, this is just horrible what's happening.
I actually don't even know what's happening. What is happening to Greta? How did she get back in our news cycle? Do we care? Do we actually care?
Oh, sorry. I suppose I should put it up on
Put
the
it
screen.
on, maybe. I flustered too.
My name is Greta Thunberg. I'm a citizen of Sweden. If you are watching this video, I have been abducted and taken against my will by Israeli forces. Our humanitarian mission was non-violent and abiding by international law. Please tell my government to demand my and the others' immediate release.
I mean, this is horrible. Apparently, the Israel, whoever's detained her, which she says preemptively that it was the Israelis, but there's no actual proof that that happened. But they're saying that the government of Sweden needs to give them $10 million. And if they don't, they'll send Greta Thunberg back to Sweden.
Greta Thunberg, folks. Do we care? Do you actually care? Do you actually care?
Zane, hey, it looks like the left's attempt to answer Sydney Sweeney. Well, I mean, that is some of the best genes they've got.
What to know, speaking of genes, what to know about this fall's COVID-19 vaccine?
Nothing. Nobody cares. But I do think it's interesting that the latest vaccine is... Let's see here. Who should receive the vaccine? Canadians 65 or older, as well as other groups deemed high risk from the virus. These include residents of long-care homes, pregnant people, individuals in or from First Nations, Métis, and Inuit communities, members of racialized and other equity-denied communities, healthcare workers, and other care providers in facility and community settings. So it's not even recommended for the general public anymore.
CEO of Enbridge, Canada standing in its own way and becoming an energy superpower. The CEO of North America's largest energy infrastructure company says Canada can absolutely be an energy superpower, but federal government regulations are standing in the way. We have everything set up, he told host Mike Couture, and the only thing that's stopping us is ourselves.
That's what we've been saying for years. That's what Danielle Smith said. And everybody's like, oh, Danielle Smith is just trying to blame this. Like, literally, the CEO of Enbridge is saying that. I just want to point this out, though. This is, you don't hate the media enough. Exclusive. Canada standing in its own way to becoming an energy superpower. CTV finally put this together, and they're declaring it an exclusive. They're the only ones who've realized that Canada is standing in its own way of becoming an energy superpower. Literally every single one of the idiot plebs who go to work in the industry or around the industry, everybody with a real job has known this for a decade. But CTV thinks it's finally cracked the code. I think we figured it out, folks.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see if any of the mainstream can figure it out. Little Caesars customer.
So by the way, look at all these people pointing out the pregnant people from the COVID recommendations. They recommend that pregnant people.
I love our audience.
Yeah.
Yes, pregnant people. Little Caesars customer goes on rampage after a $1 charge for sauce in Kentucky.
Yes, and then she caused a. She fled the scene after causing more than $1,000 of damage because the sauce that she wanted for her Little Caesars.
I want extra
pizza,
sauce.
Yeah.
Ma'am, that's $1. Lose it.
I'm sorry. I thought this was America.
And I lose it. Give him, yeah. Anyways, the champ. Ever since I've been the champ. Anyways, yeah, she went into custody for a whole separate offense for throwing a brick through a man's car window. So she was having fun.
It's always the last ones you'd expect.
Melanie Jolie.
Yeah,
Give
I
her.
just want to point this out. I like the fact that we've got question period up and going now because every once in a while they say the quiet parts out loud. Like
They
this,
do.
for example.
But beyond that, supply management is not on the table, and Quebec culture will never be on the negotiating table.
The dairy cartel is Quebec culture. Government-imposed restrictions on the free market, which causes hand-picked industries, primarily in Quebec, to have unnecessary market gain over and above what the free market would dictate is Quebec culture. Thank you. That's what we've been saying for a while too.
Some polls, Canada, twos from Canada, polling Canada. What swear word do you say the most?
And
Twos?
yeah,
I feel like you fit in the first category.
well, technically, they didn't have my preferred swear up there, which is fucking Quebec.
Fair enough.
Yep.
And then there was a second poll on most important issue, jobs and economy at 19%, Trump U.S. relations 12%, inflation 10%. It goes on and on and on.
Oh, it does go on and on. It says immigration is 7%, healthcare is 7%, housing is 6%, environment is 6%, crime is 3%, education is 2%, changing government is 2%. I would just like to point out that job/economy, inflation, immigration, and housing are all the exact same thing. And so they have jobs and economy at 19, inflation at 10, immigration at 7, and housing at 6. That's 13, 23 plus 19 is 30. That's 42%. 42% of Canadians have the same major issue, which is there aren't enough jobs to go around and everything's getting unrealistically expensive. And everything in Canada is spread too thinly among too many people. 42% of Canadians have that opinion. But if you run an idiot poll and break it down, where you're like, well, I don't know. Do you like blue cars or red cars or apples? Well, look, a certain percentage like blue cars. No. They all like cars. They all like cars. You could just put them in one fucking category, you numpties.
We have this at the Montreal airport during an inspection. 2 luxury Rolex watches with an estimated value of $117,000 were seized by CBSA officers from a traveler after providing inadequate documentation.
I just want to go ahead and say that if you're traveling with a really expensive watch that you don't have the paperwork for, put it on your wrist. Like that's a pretty simple solution.
You're not wrong.
But this is what we're seizing at our border. We had literal tons of meth and cocaine found last week, and they're worried about watches. Motherfuckers, you should get some watches because you need to know what time it is, and it's time to smarten up.
Show the video of Olivia Chow.
I have to show this video because you would not believe that this was a legitimate video. In fact, I had trouble believing this was a legitimate video, but legitimate video this is.
I've had taco party where I have like 10 different ingredients and then the different, so I have the salsa, the guacamole, and the different vegetable, different salads, and then different cheese, and then you have the chicken, and then you have the shrimp, and then you have the beef, you have soft taco, and then corn taco, and this kind of taco, so I love having taco parties.
That is a speech from the mayor of Toronto. You can't make this up, folks.
Conservatives know that every dollar Mark Carney spends comes out of Canadians' pockets. The Liberal government has increased the deficit by almost 70% above Justin Trudeau's government. When will the Liberals end their inflationary deficits and start bringing down the cost of living for Canadians? Lawyer Ron Vinay says no evidence that deficits cause inflation.
Yeah, he says this is just a hoax. Now, I, on the other hand, have the evidence that deficits cause inflation. The evidence is the book Basic Economics.
Offensive phrase still used for tank tops on Amazon, even though it violates Canada's advertising code. What is that offensive phrase, Twos?
Well, that depends on who you are. But apparently, wife beater is an offensive phrase. Now, first off, these are your classic, like they're wife beaters. You're not talking about high fashion here. It's not as though you're presenting something as being awesome and calling it wife beaters. You're talking about wife beaters. I find it absolutely baffling that, like, do they think that this is glorifying people who beat their wives? Everybody knows exactly what you're talking about and what you're dealing with. The only surprising thing is that you cannot buy these things pre-stained with mustard.
How about Florida? You want to show?
I don't even
Sheriff,
know what to make of this.
Sheriff Grady Judd.
We just have to watch this clip, folks.
Sure.
This is an actual press conference that took place in Florida.
There's things in life you just can't believe. So you order up a prostitute, right? This prostitute lives with his mother, by the way. He's got a massive criminal history, a 21-year criminal history with 31 criminal charges. So you order up a prostitute, and that's what you think you're getting. Now, when you look at that, you go, wow, that's pretty rough, but, you know, any port in a storm. And then the next morning when you wake up, you find out this is who it really is. Yeah. We call that Coyote Ugly. You see, he's laying on your arm in bed. You go, well, it was rough last night, but I've sobered up. I think I'll just chew my arm off and ease away so I don't disturb him or wake him up. All right, so you think you're buying this, you're getting this. He's got 31 criminal charges, and heck, if you're lucky, he doesn't kill you overnight. There's
So
Coyote Ugly.
Yeah.
That's a different type of Coyote Ugly. Me and you grew up with a different Coyote Ugly, the movie.
Yeah, and they literally have a scene where they explain what Coyote Ugly is. And it's like a coyote with his leg caught in a trap where it'll chew it off so it can escape. They literally have that scene from the movie. Haven't you seen it?
Yeah,
they all dance around on top of the bar.
I know. I was just meaning it's a bunch of beautiful ladies, and that is definitely far from a. Anyways,
yeah, but the whole name of the bar that movie takes
I
place
realized, Tooz. I'm just
is
saying.
named after that exact same concept. It's not different. It's literally the same thing.
Okay.
True story. I saw that movie as a matinee, and then I met up with a bunch of buddies, and we went and saw Charlie's Angels later on that night. It was a hell of a day.
Charlie's Angels is a terrible movie. Terrible. Actually,
Yeah,
both
but
of them are great.
Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, and Lucy Liu jumping around, beating people up in slow motion. Yeah, I'm there for that. I am there all day.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me. Joy Reid warning America about the dangers of MAGA. They want to take us back to no income tax, no regulations, earn as much as you want, and leave it to your children with no taxes.
Let her say it. Let her say it. You will not believe the extremism that MAGA wants to do and how horrible it is. Listen to her tell you herself.
Is that if you go back before the 20th century, there were no income taxes, there were no regulations on business. You could earn as much money as you want, leave 100% of it to your children with no taxes. Right. That's the world they want back. And to get it back, they need society to change.
That's the world they want back. These are the extremists. What horrible, deplorable people.
Tina Turner's hometown unveiled a statue to honor legendary singer. And well, there you go, Tooz. There's the statue. I think I got another one of them up here. There you go.
Yep. Yeah. Some of the comments on it. Where are all the knockdown statue guys when you need them? That's a statue in honor of Beavis from Beavis and Butthead. The sculptors didn't make her hair big enough. I literally thought it was Buffalo Guy from January 6th. Some money got laundered. Now, I'm guessing this happened on September 25th because that was her birthday. But yeah, look at that statue. If you guys are gonna desecrate a statue, pick that one. It will look better.
2 female police officers versus the 130 pound man.
Okay, now
you don't need to show the entire video. But
no. Okay, but here's the thing. All right, So we've done over 150 episodes of this. You know every joke Twos is going to make before he makes it. Pretend you're Twos and talk about this.
You're asking me?
Go. The floor is yours.
You're probably going to say something along the lines, and this is why women shouldn't be police officers and should stay in the kitchen. That's my guess.
Stay in the kitchen. That's an interesting thing because of the restaurant. Wrong, all wrong. Every time you think you got me figured out,
I
got
don't.
another layer. I
Sure.
got another
Sure,
layer.
let's hear it.
The story isn't the fact that two women were trying to subdue a 130-pound man in Hooters. Okay? There's no stopping. You're at a place where you are fed unlimited chicken wings and draft beer.
Are you going to show the video while you talk? Just turn down show the video while you talk.
Okay, all right. It doesn't matter how
it's like
big
a 3-minute
or
video.
small
Turn the video,
guy
turn the
is.
sound
It
off.
doesn't matter. It
There we
doesn't
go.
matter
Okay,
that
we
they're
got
women.
two female
An
cops
actual
trying
fucking
to attack
grizzly
the-
bear could have come in there with a badge and said this needs to stop, and the fight would have gone the same way.
Uh-huh. Is that what you were going to say?
Yeah. That a police officer grizzly bear would not have been able to stop a man from being fed unlimited chicken wings and draft beer at a Hooters by a bunch of half-naked ladies. Yeah. So that's the story.
That's
Sean.
the story. Yeah, okay.
Well, congratulations, you have me all figured out.
I do have you all figured out. First cousin marriage. We talked about this. What was it, last week? The week before?
Well, yeah,
either
you
way.
got all excited as soon as.
Oh
first
yeah,
cousin
yeah. I'm
marriage
all
came up.
excited. First cousin marriage has benefits, says NHS guidance despite birth defect risk. That's the headline.
That's Britain is now trying to normalize cousin marriage, and so in other news, Sean.
In other nudes,
Sean is reading up on the Union Jack and fish and chips and calling trunks boots.
$1 trillion.
And he is. You have never seen a more cagey Sean than one when you ask about which his most attractive first cousin is. I'm guessing you've got an absolute bombshell of a first cousin, and you just don't want, like, it was just so weird the way we ended that last episode. And so then now I saw another article about first cousins, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I could dig a little bit deeper into this and figure out like where exactly Sean, for those of you don't know right now, is the color of the Rooster Mashup logo. And so there's some
certainly
kind of a
not.
story
I don't
here.
What are you talking about?
How many bases have you gone around with your first cousin?
0. Anything else, Twos?
I want to know
this weird witch hunt. I find it odd that you're so obsessed with first cousins. That's what I find weird. Twos, am I starting to learn something about you that you would like to share with the audience?
I smell blood in the water. I smell blood in the water when we asked about this last week, and I'm like, oh, we need to pursue this. And right now, all the blood is in your cheeks.
Okay, sure. $1 trillion.
I'm gonna ask your brothers about this.
Sure, fire away. $1 trillion cicadas.
Cicadas.
They're what's for dinner. It's a whole story about bugs. Regardless, that's what it is.
And how important it is to eat them, and how many people eat them, and how
In
they're
the
actually
New York
delicious.
Times.
Yeah, they're the lobster for insect eaters.
Yeah,
cicadas.
There you go. Doug Ford, show the video.
Yeah. Now, I feel like if you had a cousin who looked like Doug Ford, you wouldn't have blushed nearly this much. But here's Doug Ford.
And just on another topic, on this Project Ontario group, they're having a meeting tomorrow night. They're pushing for smaller government. They say you don't have the will to kind of do what it takes to really cut down. They're also looking for more private healthcare different options for independent schools. You've always said you're open to ideas from various political parties. Are you open to any of their ideas?
I don't even know who these guys are. They sound like a bunch of radical rights.
They sound like a bunch of radical rights. They want school choice, healthcare options, and a smaller government. What a bunch of crazy radicals. This is Doug Ford, folks.
Doug Ford finds a way. He's becoming a new favorite of the show because of what he says in press conferences. Happy news. Nicole Kidman has filed for divorce from Keith Urban. You're
Yeah.
happy about that?
Well, I'm sure there's going to be somebody out there who says, "Wow, I'd really love to go down under on her. She's an attractive lady, and you should shoot your shot. She's back on the market, folks. Back on the market.
Have fun with Nicole Kidman, folks. Okay. This is interesting. MMA fighter beats Florida home intruder black and blue to protect teen nephew. Just God in my hands, he said.
Yeah. I feel like we gotta show this clip. This is the interview with this MMA fighter who looks like Brooks Buford.
MMA fighter beats the crap out of a home intruder in Florida, of course. Henny Roja was protecting his teen nephew with
only God and my hands. That's it.
the home intruder.
Only God in my hands, man. Show the video of the crab smack.
Yes. So this is a band. I didn't know where else to put this in, but it made my heart happy. This band covers popular songs and changes all the lyrics to being about eating crabs.
This is what you're here for, folks. You need to lighten up your Friday just a little bit. Okay, community notes. We got a ton. Okay, Kent Davis. I apologize. I missed your community note. I think it's like 2 weeks running now. So here we go. October 4th, Leduc Grain Elevator, Handmade Market, Pumpkin Bowling, and weather permitting, a tin-type photographer offering portraits done on a 120-year-old camera with silver and aluminum plate, a process popular during the American Civil War. So that's tomorrow. Rock Solid Refuge is doing their Ride for Refuge and their 20th celebration. Also tomorrow on October 4th, Ride for Refuge will be at Lac Pelletier, south of Swift Current, start at 9:45 a.m. and the 20-year celebration from 2 to 7 on location at Rock Refuge, northeast of Shaunavon, Saskatchewan.
Because he's Martin Pelletier, and yeah, I get you're talking about anything, Sean. But continue.
What? Because he's what?
Well, Martin Pelletier is the name of the food professor.
No, it's Sylvain Charlebois.
Who's Martin Pelletier?
RockSolidRefuge.com for more information and directions. October 14th, the Health Charter Tour, the World's Greatest Health Show. Sean Buckley in Lloydminster at the Legacy Center, 7 p.m. You can here. I think I got it pulled up here. You can check it out here. nhppa.org / Health Charter Tour, and they have all the upcoming things of where they're going to be right there. So they're making a tour to Ottawa.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, the bigger story is that Keith is single again. I already told my husband I'd leave him for Keith. There you go. So there's a comment. What else we got? Shannon Hines is running for school trustee in Ward 1 of Foothill School Division, which includes towns of Longview and Diamond Valley. Shannon believes in doing the basics of education well and putting as much personnel and resources on the front lines. Election for that is October 20th. October 25th here in Lloydminster, you got Rod Giltaca and Terry Bryant, Chief Firearms Officer of Alberta's Chief Firearms Officer at Prophet River Customer Appreciation Day. And here's a new one, okay? I mentioned this yesterday, last mashup, October 26th. So Sunday, October 26th, we're at Shooting Guns with Rod Giltaca, Chuck Prodnick, and Jamie Sinclair at the Lloydminster and District Fish and Game Association indoor range.
Why are you guys going to an indoor range?
You
go to a gravel pit. How much tannerite? How much tannerite are they going to let you use
reasons.
in an indoor range, Sean?
Multiple reasons.
How much long range shooting are you going to do?
We're going to do handguns. Prophet River is supplying the ammo, and it's $20 a person So like this is a super wicked deal. So if you're interested, shoot me a text. That is Sunday, October 26th.
With the price of ammunition, $20 is super cheap.
Giltaca, Prodnik, Sinclair. Well, Prophet River's making that happen, right? So shout out Prophet River. They got Giltaca in on their Customer Appreciation Day, October 25th. And then on the 26th, we're going to be at the Lloydminster and District Fish and Game Association indoor range with Prodnik, Giltaca, Sinclair, and a ton of fun. $20, man. That's going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
SMP Chris.
Jamie Sinclair was a sniper.
Yes, he was.
And you're going to do pistol shooting with a sniper.
We are going to do pistol shooting with the sniper, too.
You know what, Sean? Sometimes I used to wonder if you'd been dropped on your head as a child. Now the only question I have is what height did it fall from?
SMP Christmas Party, December 20th. The Dueling Pianos are back in town. Shoot me a text if you're interested. The Mash Spiel, as we previously brought up, is right here. Okay, tickets now online, showpass.com /Mash Spiel. And I think if I'm smart here, there's a barcode. I don't know if anybody wants to use
code.
it. Yes.
And if you're interested in donating something for the prizes, we would love to have them.
We have the Quick Dick McDick Live November 22nd in Lashburn. Here, I'll pull up that one. There's a different barcode and QR code. Regardless, Quick Dick, all the funds raised that night are going to a playground set for the Lashburn Elementary School. And the Cornerstone Forum returns March 28th at the Westin Calgary Airport Conference Center, a hotel and conference center all in one. So tickets are coming out soon. We're going to be unveiling speakers soon, but March 28th, it is back. Tuesday, do you got any other community notes that I have missed this week?
That's it. I like the fact that we do community notes.
I do too.
It makes me happy.
Prairie
Rising Forum.
Oh, Prairie Rising Forum. Come on, Sean. Oh my goodness. Prairie Rising Forum. Yes, of course, is coming up October 18th. Here's a list of the speakers. Okay. Wayne Peters. I'm hosting. Matt Arrett, Brett Olin, Martin Armstrong, Bryce Wade, Tayana Truthseeker, Dom Lucic, Zach Schmidt, Mitch Sylvester, Tom Razzo, Jamie Sinclair, Chris Barber, as long as he is
Big Red is going to be speaking there.
Big Red's going to be parked there. Yep. So tickets are on sale till October 12th here. I'll pull up bingo. There's another QR code if you want to go there. So Prairie Rising Forum, they got tickets on sale until October 12th. So make sure you don't wait. They don't have tickets on sale at the front door. You got to buy them beforehand. Anything else, Toos?
Well, again, more comments about the teacher strike. We're not talking about it today. All right.
Yeah,
we're not
only talking
it.
about 6 or 7 issues. That's
We're not addressing the teacher strike. So just hold your questions on that. Bring them up at another time and place.
Twos, Mashup 178 in the books. If you like the show, folks, please share it out. We're here every Friday, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Like, share, name your kid Rooster. Rooster would be a cool name. Compared to Jihad, that's a pretty cool name.
Yep.
Twos, hey, thanks for hopping on. Folks, thanks for being here, and we'll catch up to you next week. Twos, until next week.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Welcome to the Mashup.
Tell me whether I'm wrong or right. East or west, up or down, side to side. I sit to stand and fall to fly. Of all of my impulsive plans, popping, locking, salsa dances on demand. I follow leading off the map, stop the chatter, scream happily.
Welcome to the Mashup.
Welcome to the Mashup. Welcome to the